This is Sean McGuire.
This is Juan Marino.
And welcome to episode 3 of Big Game Freaks,
the second part of our Capcom episode, and we'll leave you with a nice song from Mega Man 8.
Electrical Communication.
And that was Electrical Communication from Mega Man 8, the Japanese version.
The English version was much different.
Yeah, it was only a instrumental song that wasn't that good anyway.
It was not that great. This song is much superior.
Definitely. I left you, last time I left you a recommendation with Resident Evil 2. But for those who want to play the first one, Resident Evil 1, there's an issue with the first Resident Evil. Not really an issue, but there's a difference between the two versions of Resident Evil. There's the first Resident Evil. The first Resident Evil.
So we're gonna talk about Resident Evil this time to start the episode, huh?
Definitely, it's a great game. The first Resident Evil, the first version on the PlayStation, it was a little bit less harder. But when they made the remake for the GameCube, and it's also available on the
I saw that too.
on the Wii, the thing they made the difficult harder, and there's also less ammunition. And aside from that, after you kill a zombie, you have to burn him. If not, he will come back and be more aggressive, faster,
Nice.
and that is way more difficult if it's your first time playing the first Resident Evil. So if you love challenges, go for the remake that actually looks better, has better graphics, but it's a little bit more difficult. So if you have a problem with difficulty and the lack of ammunition, go and play the original Resident Evil. That's on the PlayStation, and definitely it's probably on the PlayStation Network also for the PS3.
I don't want to play the original for the sake of it. I love playing original works.
Yeah, it's nice, and you'll see the difference between difficulties if you play both. Definitely.
The reason why I like to do original works is because I want to experience as it was in that year. So in this case, it would be 1996, and I'd live in that year, not just see a remake that was redone, perhaps remastered.
Yes, it was actually, it had better graphics. The graphics.
So it did change the graphics.
Yeah, they changed the graphics also. It used the potential of the GameCube, and it was nice. It looked nice, but if you're not into difficulty and you pretty much love to kill your enemies, go for the original one. And also, I wanted to point out the whole Resident Evil 3 and Code Veronica thing. There was one issue with that game. The Resident Evil 3 was supposed to be a spin-off that was supposed to be with Jill Valentine, right?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'd love to learn more.
Yeah, and the thing is that the Resident Evil we know today, Resident Evil 3 we know today, it was actually supposed to be Code Veronica.
I've seen flash videos about Code Veronica, and it's really been hyped on a site called Newgrounds.com.
Yeah, and
Have you been there?
And Code Veronica was supposed to be the spin-off, and the thing is that Sony was
Capcom.
Capcom was making
and he's old.
Capcom was making the third game of the series, since the second one was very successful. And the thing was that they were already making the third one for the Dreamcast, but and they also were making the spin-off for the PlayStation. And the thing was that they made a deal with Sony to give them the main series, but it was late already. They already made the game.
Wow.
So what they did was just switch the names and give the PlayStation owners the spin-off, but with the name Resident Evil 3, and do the opposite with the
perhaps
Dreamcast.
a deadline issue.
Yeah, definitely it was, and communication issues also. But that's interesting to know that Capcom did that. They're pretty sneaky.
Well, if you could be able to find Resident Evil 1 through 3, please, I want to get a hold of it, and for a cheap price too.
Yes, and also now let's move on other Capcom titles. From.
Do you want to talk about Resident Evil 4 and Devil May Cry?
Let's talk about that later.
Alright, because that actually I'm very familiar with.
Okay.
With this one, we'll let you take it away because you know the history.
Okay.
Alright, well let's talk about the other Mega Man spin-offs, because we've mainly talked about regular Mega Man.
Yes, the main series and X.
Like this song, Snake Man Stage.
Yeah, that's from Mega Man 3. And what do you have to say about the other games?
Well, let's start with Mega Man X. You've experienced it, have you?
Yes, and as I told you, Mega Man X4 is one of my favorites, since I know what to do in every single station there.
Well, did you remember Mega Man X1?
I do. Not as detailed as Mega Man X4, but I do.
Because I... will edit this out. What? Shush.
Keep talking.
Of course, of course. Sorry, guys. We were just testing out these new features. Now we have new songs, and we're having lots of fun with this now. Well, let's talk about Mega Man X now. So you've beaten the game, right?
Yes, I actually played all the Mega Man X games. 1 through 6, I played them on the Mega Man X collection for the PS2.
I played those games on the original SNES. I remember getting it from a video store and a gift from my grandmother. Like in this song, Stark Mandrill. Yes!
And it
Do you know the song?
Yes, definitely. That's why I wrote it.
His weakness. Do you remember Spark Mandrill's weakness?
Not at all. I don't remember.
Chill Penguin.
I don't remember the details of the whole game, but
Yeah.
definitely it was fun.
The difference with Mega Man X, and you can even see it in X4, is it was much speedier than the Mega Man titles, where all I could do was move, shoot, jump, then Mega Man 3 slide, Mega Man 4 charge, and then continue from there. With X, you can be able to dash, high-speed jump, kick walls, and get power-ups in your armor, more than just rush abilities for each piece of armor.
That's nice. And what about the other Mega Man games that were kind of spin-offs?
There was the Battle Chip series, and I've beaten 3 and 6 of that, and the Legends titles. Well, have you ever played Battle Chip at all?
Yes, and the actual Battleship, yes.
Have you beaten any of the games?
Nope.
Well, I'll just tell you how the gameplay works.
I don't know. The Mega Man Battleship games, not at all. I thought you were talking about the board game.
Oh, no. A board game.
Yeah.
Well, with Battle Chip, instead of doing regular platforming, you get to go into battle sequence and you choose chips as if you would choose cards. Then you do this battle mode where you're in your own grid zone, your enemies are in their own grid zone. Then you use your regular buster powers and regular dodging within those panels and using powers. I do recommend you pick it up. There's a Flash video that inspired me to look at Battle Chip more. It was called TV Tome Network on Newgrounds.
Nice.
So if you were to look at that, that's what inspired me to do it.
And also, Capcom did something that a lot of developers or publishers don't do well, and that is take license names and make their good games. For example,
Do you mean the Disney games?
Yes, the Disney games, they made a lot of nice games
We're
from
gonna talk about
Disney.
Legends, but it's alright.
Yeah, they made some nice Capcom games. I mean, some Disney games.
The one I remember the most fondly was Aladdin.
Aladdin, definitely. I love Aladdin.
But when I was young, I thought this was a great game, and still to this day I think of that. But I do add another comment, that it was short, but I say it's still great.
Yeah, I played it recently and it was still fun.
Alright, did you play the Genesis version of Aladdin as well?
No, but I know that you have a sword in there.
Yeah.
I have seen it, but I never played it. But you know, to me the Aladdin character is more like a sneaky guy, not really a warrior. So
you're saying that the SNES version did a better job because it's more true to Aladdin's personality?
definitely, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I do agree with you with that, but I say that platforming and the great game with Aladdin really seals Aladdin's fate for being a memorable movie forever.
Okay.
Well, don't you think if a good movie has a good game, then it really just adds to the game's power?
Mm-hmm.
Like with that side series I told you about Toho with the top-down shooter. Because the games are great, that's one, and because the fan base is strong, that game series will seal its fate into gaming history.
Yeah. Also, another nice game from Disney was the Goof Troop.
I love Goof Troop. I got that as a rental.
Oh, that sucks.
But I did beat the game. It was a short game. It was only 5 stages.
Yeah, it is fun to play with someone. It is great for multiplayer. Definitely. The other day I played it, beat it, and it was really fun.
Final Fight. Nice.
And what about other Disney games that you remember?
I loved Chip and Dale.
Chip and
with
Dale.
The co-op platforming. Have you ever played that game?
Never played it.
You need to play it with me.
Definitely.
We need to play together because we can play as Chip and Dale together and be able to walk around the stage while you do NES platforming in this game.
Great.
And sometimes if you go too fast, we could die.
Yeah.
But that's what adds to the game's content. It's like playing DuckTales with the same platforming speed, but we must catch up with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you can play it in 2-player, and it works.
Nice. And another game I remember from Disney that was made by Capcom, there was this game from Mickey Mouse, Magical Adventure. It was a different name in the US, I think, but the game was great. There was a lot of platforming, and it was fun. Other games that you remember from Capcom, from Disney games that you loved?
I once played Little Mermaid and I beat that. It was a pretty good game, but it was just regular platforming. It was not so huge, but the boss was pretty interesting. I will admit that when I was young, I had just a little bit of trouble, even though Ursula's not so tough.
And what about other games from Disney? Any other memories from Disney games?
Plenty. I remember playing Darkwing Duck, actually.
Nice.
Did you play it ever?
No, I missed some of the Disney games from the NES.
Well, I got a game from a friend, but that I was able to get a copy of the game.
Was it good?
It was good, but I looked at a recent video from Happy Video Game Nerd, and he talked about the game not being quite as smooth as Mega Man games with jumping and shooting, and I do agree with him.
Oh yes, I've seen that too.
No, I recommended that one to you.
And that game is pretty much like a Mega Man kind of game, pretty much, with shooting and stuff.
Where you select your stage and you fight it, just like in DuckTales 2. And DuckTales 1, I'm sorry. You select the stage, and then you complete the stage and beat the boss. With DuckTales 2, however, you can beat the stage, and then in the middle of it, you must collect treasure maps to get to the final ending.
Nice. Sounds nice.
It's a great game. But people nowadays remember DuckTales more for first great platforming, but we now take a piece from DuckTales The Moon. Which later on, I think near the end, we should sing it together, if you know the lyrics. If you know
I
the
don't know
words.
them. And you sing it along.
If you know the words, you can join in too. Put your hands together if you want to clap as we take you to the DK rap.
Yeah, right. And well...
Woohoo!
And also other games from Capcom, classic games like Final Fight series.
I love great. Final Fight. One of my
Yes.
favorites was Mighty Final Fight for the NES.
I didn't play that one. I only played the ones from the SNES.
Well, we should play together sometime, and then
Definitely.
later look at another beat 'em up. Street Raids or Bare Knuckle in Japan.
Yeah, nice.
We should just look at beat 'em ups, because with
Beat 'em ups are fun to play with someone else.
Only, sure.
Yeah, those
You
games
can't play
are
alone,
great.
but it's not quite as fun. You
Yes.
want the game to be simply better, you get multiplayer.
Definitely. What other games from Capcom do you remember that you want to talk about?
Well, I was going to talk about we should play some beat 'em ups and talk about PS2 not having so many beat 'em ups.
Yes, and the thing with the PlayStation...
do you know any beat 'em ups for the PS2?
I don't remember right now.
I actually do know one. Do you know the Bouncer by Squaresoft?
I've heard of it, but I don't remember it.
If I still had the game, it was a rental.
Oh.
We could experience a 3D beat 'em up, which works.
Nice.
Admit, when I started, I was a little slowish, but then I started to have fun.
And for the PS2, they tried to make a Final Fight.
They did.
They tried to make a Final Fight revival, but it didn't work too much. The game wasn't good, and it sucked.
Do you have the game? Because I want to play
I
that.
I played it, and it wasn't any good.
Damn.
Really. And I don't remember if it had any multiplayer at all.
Really? Because that's really the whole point of Final Fight.
Yeah, actually, that's the fun part of Final Fight, playing with someone else.
Because if you were to play a game called Double Dragon, you want to play with the brother.
Definitely, yes. That is one of the games that you must play with someone else.
Because that's the box art. That means you must play with someone.
And that's the whole thing with the beat 'em ups, that you have to play them with someone else for the game to be fun.
That's where beat 'em ups shine.
Yes, definitely.
For the perfect multiplayer experience.
And one of those beat 'em ups games is Captain Commando. I used to play it when in the arcades.
I
it
never
was
got
fun.
the chance to play Captain Commando.
You never
but
played
I need to.
Captain Commando? Oh my god!
I know, because the big mascot with it. I know.
Yes,
I played him on Marvel vs. Capcom, but I need to play the game.
It failed as a mascot, but
I know.
but the game was fun.
But I still need to play it because looks nice, and he's important for Capcom.
Yes, it is really fun to play with.
Well,
what
what
else?
characters are in Captain Commando?
You have the Captain Commando, and you have a ninja also, kind of a ninja.
A ninja.
Yes, you have a ninja, and then you have a guy who has knives and looks kind of a zombie or some weird stuff, and you have a robot ridden by a baby.
Is one of the characters a mayor that beats stuff up?
No, I don't remember. I don't remember the.
You know what I'm making a reference to, right?
That is one of the Final Fight guys.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't.
I know they would never normally cross over.
Yeah, but yeah,
He's just a funny character.
But Captain Commando was crazy. The whole baby in a robot thing was really really crazy, but it was fun.
Have you ever played Nemo and the Dream Master?
Never. I will have to check it for. What kind of game is that?
Well, let me give you a quick summary and its little history behind it. Nemo and the Dream Master is a platform game where you're a little boy in Dreamland. In Slumberland. And you go through little adventures, little platforming. You're supposed to meet the princess who will give you candy and presents. No,
Nice.
candy and a chance to play with her. Like a playtime.
Okay.
And then the little boy Nemo says, "Oh, she's gonna give me candy? She must be really smart, but I don't want to kiss her."
So what kind of game is this? Is it a platformer?
It's a platforming game
Okay.
where you do some regular running and jumping, and you throw candy. The thing with the candy is, if you hit it on regular enemies, it stuns them. If you throw the candy on your friendly characters, you feed them, and then you can be inside them and use them as a vehicle. If you're the frog, you can be able to jump high. If you're the lizard, you can be able to travel fast, be small. Da, 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 da. Or if you're a bee, you can be able to fly. But the thing with this game is it's a tough platformer, and I loved it. And the music, all beautiful, all childhood memories, but it was not meant for a child, even though I beat it when I was in 3rd, 4th grade. Because I loved
that's
games.
because you're a hardcore nerdy.
And the thing with that game is, it was actually in dedication of a comic artist named Winsor McKay.
Oh.
And he first made Nemo in Slumberland in 1905, and then up until 1928. And he even predated Disney, and it was an inspiration for Disney Works. So he was very, very creative. And it has him sleeping, and in every panel of the comic, you have Nemo going into the adventure, and then at every end of the panel, he wakes up. And then he says, "Oh, that was a weird dream," or "I can't wait to go back in there again."
So it was a good game overall.
It's a good game, and if you want to see a Sunday comic, I think, or if you want to look at some cute comics before Disney, look at Nemo in Slumberland by Winsor McKay.
Okay. And what other games are Capcom that are great?
Funny thing is, Zelda Minish Cap had Capcom assistance. Have you ever played that game?
I never played those Capcom Zelda games, actually.
Yeah, also they did
Sadly.
Oracle of Ages and Seasons, which I love those games as well.
Yeah,
Did you ever play them at all, or no?
I never got to play those Zelda games from Capcom. Actually, the only Zelda game that I played on the Game Boy Color was the
Link's Awakening, which was outside
DX.
Capcom.
Yes, that's the only Zelda game I played for the Game Boy.
And it's got that raw charm with Link's Awakening. That was amazing.
Yeah, that's good, but never got to play the Oracle of Seasons or Ages or the Minish Cap.
The two games, Oracle of Ages and Seasons, do connect by password link cable. So once you beat that game, beat the other game, then you can be able to get to Ganon.
Wow.
And you can be able to transfer rings, which give you temporary, not temporary powers, but little power-ups in the game. And you can be able to transfer rings, and also you can transfer secrets. So if you want the Master Sword, you must beat the first game, then get the secret from the other game, then transfer that password back to the first game, then you can get the Master Sword, and then bring the Master Sword to both games.
That's very nice. That's
Really crazy, and it's amazing.
Yes, that's good stuff.
I do recommend it.
And there's also other games from Capcom. For example, Onimusha was one of my first PS2 games ever.
I never got the chance to play it. Take it away.
It was a fun game. It was like a hack and slash game. I think that's the genre.
They also did a fighting game, right?
Yeah, it was a hack and slash game.
The hack and slash, and then they also stretched out to another genre, right? Onimusha Blade Warriors.
I didn't play the other ones. I only played the first one, and it was really fun. Really fun.
I only know it because of a parody on Newgrounds. Super Flash Brothers made The Decline of Video Gaming 2.
Oh.
They pass by Onimusha Blade Warriors and say, "Oh, Onimusha Blade Warriors, one of the other characters says, "Nah, this is only a repeat of Super Smash Brothers," and they say, "And the winner is Summonusk."
Oh,
Just like Super Smash Brothers.
okay, but it was a fun game. If that
I saw some videos. I should give it a chance.
I should give a chance to the sequels probably, but I only played the first one, but it was great.
Well, with me in video gaming, I want to give any game a chance, regardless of good or bad. I just want to see how it is. Just love the games. I even think that E.T. is a good game too.
E.T. Oh my god, you're gonna get burned, man.
No. E.T. genuinely is a good game. There are much worse games than that. If you look on YouTube, search 10 games worse than E.T., and I agree with this man. It's Joe Sonterly from Digital Press. It's in Clifton, which is 10 minutes away from here too. But with E.T., you get a title screen. Not many games have that, as I agree with him. And it actually has the character. The only programming flaw, which I agree with as well, is you falling into holes, even when you're not in the pixel. When I was in 3rd grade, I played the game and I thought that was a little frustration, but I thought the game was awkward, but interesting. But I moved on to better games like Adventure, Surround, Mangia, and Xenophobe, plus others. I say it's not a bad game. I played games that were a little worse than that. I thought, E.T., it's fine. I kind of like it. It's not one of the worst games of all time, but people do hold that game responsible for the game crash because it added more mistrust to box art and mysteriousness of a good game or not.
I don't know. I think it was really bad.
Are you sure? Because have you played the game, right?
I played the game a little, but not too much. I mean, the game wasn't really fun at all.
We should go through a montage of Atari games, so you can see which games are good, which games are bad, and you'll see that E.T. was not necessarily all that bad. But Superman 64, that was a bad game. That was really bad. But for E.T., the standards of Atari, that was good. It's just, you had a mission, collect the phone parts, and you actually phone home.
What game do you say that was bad?
Superman 64. That game was bad.
Okay.
And you actually can phone home, and you actually can end the game. It actually has a true ending where you're picked up by your race. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Some games just have a score building, or it just end by flashing the lights.
Okay. Have you ever played Dino Crisis? That was one of my favorite games from Capcom also.
Was Dino Crisis a first-person shooter by chance? Or
no,
I think I'm playing a game called Dino Stalker. I'm sorry.
No, it was a survival horror game.
Nice.
With dinosaurs. That's the thing. It didn't have zombies or monsters. It had dinosaurs, and it had that creepy mood anyway. That you probably wouldn't imagine dinosaurs being that scary, but the game did it. The game made dinosaurs scary.
Do you have the game?
Yes, I think I do.
I need to look at that game.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's one of the best survival horror games ever.
Because
For me, it was fun. It was fun. I played as a kid. I probably should replay it again to see if it was as good as I remember. But I had lots of fun with that game, and it scared the hell out of me at some parts. Especially when with the huge T-Rex. People who played it probably remember that part. And it was good. The thing is that the sequel moved away from being a survival horror, and it was more like an action game, and probably the reception wasn't that great. But I didn't ever play too much that game. I only tried it and thought it was kind of disappointing not being a survival horror game. But that was a long time ago. I should give a try to Dino Crisis 2.
I should play the game with you.
Yeah, and the first one is really fun. You should play it. And if you haven't played the first Dino Crisis, go and play it. It's one of the best games ever.
I'm willing to try it.
Yeah, and it came out with the survival horror thing was the rage in the industry. That's when Resident Evil was successful, and they made Dino Crisis also.
Have you ever played a game called Beautiful Joe?
I've
Capcom and Platinum Games.
I've seen it. I kind of played a little bit to try it, and it was fun. But I never played the whole game, unluckily. But I definitely have to try it.
I've only played a demo where you can do punching and kicking, and then speed time up and then actually slow time down with the press of a button.
But it looks great in my opinion. It looks good. The art is pretty nice, and and it looks fun. It's all crazy and it's all totally crazy. I want to play it, definitely.
And as a fun fact, Beautiful Joe is considered by IGN one of the top 10 hardest games of all time.
Really?
Yeah, apparently 2 Capcom titles were listed in hardest games of all time. Beautiful Joe is number 10, I believe. Oh, by the way, number 1 was a Contra game for the PS2.
Wow.
These are top 10 hardest PS2 games of all time because we're worried about games getting easier to appeal to a general audience. And we, as gamers, want tougher games. I'm not sure. Well, you say you don't want them as much.
Well, I can cheat to to play them, but yes, I know some people want a lot of challenge in games, and I don't see anything bad in that. But personally, I just want to have fun with the games. But if it's a little bit difficult, I'll try to beat them anyway.
Juan, when we finish this episode, we need to play together Maximo.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll try.
Well, do you know Maximo by chance? Do you know any history of Maximo?
Nope.
Do you know Ghosts and Goblins?
Yes, I know it. Never played it in my childhood, but I know it. I have to try that game also.
If you want to look at the most unforgiving games in gaming history, you want to look at Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh.
And in this IGN list, Maximo is rated number 6 in hardest games for the PS2. The reason why it's called Maximo is because back then it was Arthur for Capcom and that was Japan. America wanted the rights to Arthur, but Japan refused. So Capcom of America made their own character, Maximo, a game similar to Ghosts and Goblins, or Ghouls and Ghosts. You have this great platforming, and if you get lots of damage, you can fight in your underwear. That's one of the real quirks of the game.
Yeah, no, I know that's the whole thing that differentiates that game from other games. That every time you get a hit, you lose your armor.
Here's where the game gets more unforgiving. You live by death tokens, and if you run out of those, you lose. And it's like Tomb Raider, where you only have a certain amount of save crystals. Run out of those, and you cannot even save your game with Ghosts and Goblins. And with Maximo.
That is crazy.
I've not even touched the game yet. I just bought it yesterday. I bought both games, Ghosts of Glory and Army of Zin. And now I will tell you something brief by next episode how unforgiving that game is. So number 1 is difficult. Number 2 eases up a bit. I will let you know.
And also, one of the other games from Capcom that I love is Okami.
I love Okami.
Yeah, great game. Some people before that game came on the Wii, they used to call that game the Zelda of the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And it's that good. It's amazing. And I personally prefer the Wii version because you can do the whole paintings better, easier.
With the Wii mode, I see.
With the Wii mode than the joysticks. So if you want to play that game and you have a Wii, do yourself a favor, buy the game, and it's cheap actually, and it's probably like $20 to $15. I don't know.
I could get it for $19, but back then when the game was released, it was called an underrated game. Now, funny how this went, it's now famous for being underrated. But I really do recommend it. I love the platforming of that game.
That's unusual.
Yeah, that's pretty ironic. It's famous for being underrated, but that's because we're having many gamers revive games that are great and should be famous. And because of horrible marketing issues or prejudices with companies, we just pass by good games.
Yeah, but that game was great.
Like Rocket Knight or Metal Storm, as Happy Video Game Nerd mentions.
Okay, the thing with Okami is that it's kind of long, so if you want to get into the game, you gotta know that the game is a little bit long, but it's great.
And you'll love the music. It's very soothing.
The music is nice, and the art is awesome.
I could just relax as a wolf. Sometimes I don't even care about the gameplay. I just want to rest as a wolf and just explore around bothering people. Or be the annoying dog. Bark, bark, I'm here, bark, bark!
But it's a beautiful game. It looks beautiful. It's one of the best games you'll ever play if you like adventures.
Smooth, beautiful, and cool.
Yes.
The fighting aspects are not that difficult.
Not all. You have 3 weapons. You have the bats. There are like a whip almost. You have
Do you mean
the
your
sword.
disc?
No. You have the disc. You have the sword, and you have like a whip.
We got more little weapons in there too, like a little slingshot.
Yeah, that's the thing I was talking. That's the thing.
Oh, that's what you meant. Oh, a sling.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a regular whipping sling.
Yes, yes.
Not like the classic Zelda slingshot.
No. But you have like 3 weapons on 3 types of weapons on Okami, and the art is beautiful.
And you can upgrade on those weapons.
Yes, and play it. It's great. And also another underrated game that's on the Wii. It's Zack and Wiki. That's a puzzle game.
Zack and Wiki. I need to get that game.
You haven't played it?
No, a friend only showed me the game on video, but I never could get the chance to get it. Well, that's because I'm not that rich.
The thing with that game is that it looks cute, and
it's puzzle oriented, as I saw.
yes, it looks cute, and that's the problem with it. That some people may think that the game is not good because it looks childish or cartoonish. But the game it actually gives you a challenge. It's actually difficult at times, and it's great. The humor is great, and if you have a Wii, do yourself another favor and buy Zack and Wiki. It's a great game.
There are plenty of Capcom games out there, especially for many consoles. You can get Capcom games on NES, SNES, TurboGrafx, this first Fighting Street or Street Fighter game. There's Capcom games for the Game Boy, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, the Wii, even the PS3. And you know what game I'm talking about?
Which
A
one?
PS3 Capcom game.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
I'm not sure if they did PS3, but I'm thinking about the third game in the series. The online content for America is free. Monster Hunter Tri.
Oh, yes. I think that's on the Wii.
No, PSP.
Oh, PSP?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also the Wii. Monster
Wait a
Hunter.
minute. Oh, okay. Monster Hunters 1 and 2.
1
Oh,
and 2
shoot,
is
I think I made a
1 and
very
2.
error.
I don't know where they are, but
PSP.
but the third one,
shoot, you're
the
right,
third
you're
one
right.
is on the Wii, and
Oh, shoot, you're right.
it had a lot of hype actually, and it looked good. It looked pretty good. The graphics. It was one of the games that got the most hardware out of the Wii. The graphics were great, and that pretty much set an example for future games that you can make nice looking games on the Wii even though the hardware is not that powerful.
Well, have you ever played Breath of Fire?
Nope.
I've beaten number 1 and 2.
And are those RPGs nice?
They're very nice. Oh, next. I would say, as an RPG, you do lots of walking and lots of regular fighting. As far as RPG fighting, it's not very interesting. It's not as interesting as Final Fantasy Dragon Quest or Lufia, where it's very interactive from the beginning to end. With this, the HP for enemies are too much, and what you're right now doing is just fight, heal, fight, heal, fight, heal. That's what I felt for the entire game.
So it wasn't that great compared to other RPGs.
Yeah, but I still enjoyed it. It had cool feel and cool music. If you wanted perhaps a very traditional RPG, Breath of Fire is a good one for you.
Okay, so that's for traditional RPGers.
It's a very traditional RPG, but compared to other games before it and during that time, there were better RPGs.
And also there's another game that your brother actually asked us to talk about, and that's Devil May Cry.
My brother.
Yes, he sent us an email that...
He did?
Yes.
Oh my god! Hey, oh, what's up, Michael? He sent us an email? I did not catch that. What did he email to us?
That he wanted us to talk about Devil May Cry.
Of course, Michael. Well, the first Devil May Cry game was considered Resident Evil 4 back then. Oh, sorry, was about to be.
Was to be Resident Evil 4, but
The director of
the Resident Evil series
said that the first game of Devil May Cry or the Resident Evil
they
1
were making Resident Evil 4, but the project was a little bit different than what Resident Evil should be.
They said this is a good game, but this is not Resident Evil, but it's a good game by itself. Please develop this, and we called it Devil May Cry.
Yeah, and it received a new name, and you have Dante and Devil May Cry, but it was originally gonna be Resident Evil 4, and that is crazy.
Fun fact, Devil May Cry 3 actually was considered harder than Maximo for some reason. I don't know. I thought the game was okay, even on its normal and hard mode. But I will be able to compare and make a correct judgment.
Okay, and they said that the second game is not really any good.
There are 4 Devil May Cry games in the series. The first game was classic, and it was as Devil May Cry should always be. The cutscenes are great, the combos are great, and you get the cool power-ups and that cool feel where Dante is really cool. And it's got that amazing hell story, and the boss Mundus, he is alright. Did you ever beat Devil May Cry 1?
The first one, yes, I beat it.
Ah, nice. And I think that Devil May Cry 1 is the template of what Devil May Cry games should be like. With cool bosses, many monsters are challenging, you must figure out their combos like in a 2D platformer. Oh, yes! Many people review Devil May Cry 1 as the perfect transition to 2D to 3D, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. Because like a regular platformer, you must travel through, and it's a game travel through normally, beat bosses, figure out their moves and weaknesses, as you figured out, and what they're more sensitive to, that you can find out as well. Devil May Cry 2, yes, many gamers do not like it as much because Dante is too quiet and the game controls are more of a button masher than anything. Then they fixed it up with Devil May Cry 3, even though Dante talks too much.
And the fourth Devil May Cry, it got a lot of people raging and going crazy because of the new looks of Dante, which looks a little bit more younger.
Well, Dante appears in the end. The main character, I believe, is Nero.
It's a prequel. It's a prequel of the series.
Yeah.
So it is Dante with a new look, but that was the look that supposedly
Prequel? I thought it was a sequel.
No, it was a prequel.
I thought it was Dante's son or something.
It's a prequel.
Sorry. Okay, I've only played the game. But now with Devil May Cry 3, I just want to mention this. It is like the first game, except there's too many cutscenes, but still, it was great gameplay, just like the first game, and there were actually more weapons, like an ice nunchaku, silver shoes, what other power-ups were there? Oh, a guitar! Remember the guitar? Oh, did you...
I only played the first one, so I don't remember.
You can play with guitar, you can go inside a gigantic monster in a stage, you can be able to go back and forth between levels, because back at Devil May Cry 2, it was a sequence game. With number 1 and 3, you can travel the entire place. It's normally dealt in one area. Devil May Cry was the house of... What was the place? Oh shoot, it was called Devil Island or something Island. And then with Devil May Cry 3 was a large tower. Shoot, I need to play the games again so I know the names. I know the boss of number 1 was Mundus. Boss of number 3 was Virgil, but before that it was the person that... shit. Do you know Devil May Cry 3? Oh, shoot.
Nope.
Who was the boss? It was the man that was the father of Lady, and she had an original name, but Dante named that lady... Lady. Oh, shoot, that was good. And then the final fight, after beating the final boss, was Virgil, his brother. And, of course, Dante and Virgil was based off the, if I'm correct, 14th century poetry Dante's Inferno, where the main poet is Dante, and the other poet that guides him is Virgil. Dante, the 14th century poet, Virgil, the 1st century Roman poet, and Dante was Italian.
And another game that
I don't finish off. If you love the game very much, read the book as well. I do recommend it.
And one of the other games from Capcom that Capcom is kind of pushing lately, that I don't want to forget, is also Dead Rising. Have you played the game?
I haven't played Dead Rising.
I haven't played it either, but I heard that is really fun. And the second, and you make your weapons, and you got a lot of zombies to kill, and all the stuff. And I want to try the second one, even though it didn't sell too much.
Yeah, that's what I at least want to do. At least give the game a chance. But yeah, I need to get some money to get the game.
But I heard that the game is pretty fun to play, and especially if you like the zombies, which is nice.
Capcom at the very least has a minimum expectation for at least having a good game.
Yes. And
ever played Devil Kings for Capcom?
Nope.
It was a pure beat 'em up where you can be different characters and you go through armies of characters and then you beat the general of each area. That's another game that Michael let me play. I kind of think it's addicting. It's not a really grand game, but I still thought it was amazing. I just want to give another shout out to a game that Michael let me play. I'm glad that Michael emailed me. I want to see that email when I got...
And speaking of females, we have an email. And it's
females? We have an email?
Email.
Ooh, yay.
And we have an email that...
We do.
It's biggamefreaks@gmail.com. So if you want to email us something, a recommendation, I don't know, your comments, your feedback, ideas, anything you want to say to us, insult us, anything, just
send
us an email to biggamefreaks@gmail.com.
If you have an episode that you really want us to recommend, we want to read your comments, and then we can make an episode off it, just like we did with listening to Michael. And we really want the show to be as great as possible, to mention games of cutting edge, mention games that you guys want to hear, and mention games that we love. And this is what we want in our game show.
Definitely. So send us an email.
At biggamefreaks@gmail.com.
Yes, we'd love to hear your feedback, your recommendation, your questions, everything.
And if you email us, we can put you on the mailing list to receive our episodes on MP3.
Great. Definitely.
Another great feature.
Yeah, that's nice.
And perhaps with more stuff in between if we want to send some special emails.
Yeah, that's good. So if you want to hear about our projects, our radio show,
and any extra benefits, email us and we can put you on the mailing list.
Definitely.
Or if you don't want to be put on, just let us know. Or if you want to opt out, let us know as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So. Excellent. Well, this about wraps up episode 3. I hope that we've satisfied Capcom.
Yes.
There are over 100 Capcom games. There's still much to explore, but these are some games that we just love.
Yes, that was it for Capcom episode. And
let's seal the deal. Let's recommend one good game in Capcom in this episode.
Well, I already recommended it, but
let's recommend another one.
Another one? I don't know, but I'm pushing for Dino Crisis, for those survival horrors gamers that haven't played the PlayStation games. Go for Dino Crisis 1. It's a great game. I loved it as a kid, and I have to play it again because it is fun. It has dinosaurs, guns. What else do you need?
Alright, here's mine. You want a tough game? Ghosts and Goblins. If you think games are not tough anymore, look at one of the most unforgiving games. It's a lot of fun. You must travel to hell and defeat Satan, which is easy. But it's really, really difficult and unforgiving. It's good to play with your friends.
Okay, and that's it for today's episode. Join us next week for episode 4.
Episode 4 title will be pending on our next episode. Be prepared.
Yes, look forward to it and see you guys.